people to lose their jobs, to lose their homes, to lose their life savings. I'll tell you what kind of a man. A small, insecure money grubber who fights for no one but himself. What kind of a man? A nasty man who will never become president of the United States.
Oh boy, as Hillary stands next to her. It looks like they're the Bobbsey twins, wearing, they both have the same blue outfits on. Jack Abramoff, former D.C. lobbyist and author of Capital Punishment, The Hard Truth About Washington Corruption, from America's most notorious lobbyist, joins us. Jack, it's great to have you on, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So I am very curious about your take in this whole election cycle and where we are right now. And let's start with Donald Trump. What's your opinion of him, and do you think that he can be the next president?
Well, I think it's going to be hard. We have to remember that every election in the last half dozen of them have come very close. There haven't been really blowout elections. And if it comes down to a very close election, then your political machine, how you turn people out, that you raise money, that you keep your base intact, that you're able to reach out, all those things matter because you're fighting on a state-by-state basis for winning the electoral votes. So obviously, I'm not alone. There are many Republicans and conservatives who are quite concerned that Trump's organization has not yet done these things, and that, in fact, the kind of discussions that are going on now should have really been months and months and months ago. And after he became the presumptive nominee, things should be smoother, but they're not. So one just has to hope, if one's a Republican, that somehow they get smoother so that he can put the kind of machine together to combat the Clinton machine. Because let's not forget who these people are. The Clintons. They deploy massive amounts of ill-gotten money and corrupt money to do their bidding in an election, and they're dirty fighters. People forget now that Bill Clinton, when he was up against Bob Dole, who was really not a tremendously successful and powerful candidate opposing him, he deployed incredibly dirty tactics, including robocalls into black communities and the rest. So I think we ought to be expecting that the Hillary Clinton machine is going to be dirtier, not less dirty than the Bill Clinton machine. And I'm very concerned, as I'm sure many people are the Trump people are they going to be able to overcome that?
Yeah, it's good. It's a big question, no doubt about that. And you would think, though, Jack, and let's look at Hillary Clinton as a candidate. Has there ever been a more flawed candidate? Has there ever been a greater opportunity, if you're a Republican, to take the White House when you have a woman who, first of all, is under FBI investigation? Second of all, is with this Clinton Foundation garbage, which of course has never been investigated by this administration, has taken tens of millions of dollars from countries that she admits that she called out for sponsoring and supporting terrorism, and that kill gays or stone gays or imprison gays and treat women like garbage. I mean, just those two facts should make it almost an easy cakewalk. But like you said, it's not a typical election season.
Well, I think a lot of people are saying that if virtually any of the other folks running were nominated, this would be a sprint, to the finish line and probably have a massive blowout. She is a terrible candidate. She has not only got the legacy problem, which we don't talk about so much, but it's still there. She has the incredible corruption issues. She has the incompetence, by the way. It's not just corrupt. She was an incompetent Secretary of State. She was an incompetent senator. And frankly, she was an incompetent First Lady in the sense that she meddled into policies. She's not a competent public servant. This should be something where the Republicans are marching to victory, but unfortunately, the Republican candidate has flaws, deep flaws, and we're hoping, I guess the Republicans are hoping that they're able to overcome these. But what should be a blowout election is going to turn into at least, we hope, a squeaker, but could be the other way.
And are you one of those who believes that if it were any of the other, most any of the other 16, that it would be the sprint and blowout that you described? You subscribe to that?
It's hard to know because there is something going on. I think people are generally sick of politicians It happened to be that he happened to be there, Donald Trump, to take advantage of that. So it could be that some of the other politicians, maybe a Bush and the rest, wouldn't do so well. It's hard to know, of course, but one has to think at least some of these issues, some of these self-inflicted wounds, some of these comments, and some of the behavioral issues would not be present. There might be other issues present, by the way, that would cause other concerns, but
Right.
at least those might not be the things that everybody's talking about.
What about the media coverage, Jack? I mean, I think now, just like they protected Barack Obama when he was candidate Obama in '08 and did not look into his background, barely touched on Reverend Wright, did not touch on who he was, etc. And now it seems like protect Hillary at all costs. They just don't talk about her taking the tens of millions. They don't talk about the Clinton Foundation. They don't talk about the shady goings on. They don't even talk about and say that if Donald Trump were under FBI investigation, every time they said his name, they would say who is under FBI investigation. But Hillary has the protection of the media, and they're going to get her elected in their minds at all costs.
That's very true, by the way. This has been the approach of the media for quite some time. It's not just Hillary, and it's not just Trump. This happens every election. Look what they did to Mitt Romney, for goodness sakes. I mean, the things they were attacking Mitt Romney about. Barack Obama has been one of the worst presidents in the history of the United States, if not the worst. And they're talking about Mitt Romney going on a vacation and somebody left the dog on top of a car, as if that matters. This is to be expected. The media in America are far left-wing, with the exception, of course, of Newsmax and Fox and a few others, not everyone at Fox, but many, and talk radio. But the major mainstream media are far left-wing. These people have constantly been in the tank for the Democrats. Once the Democrat is chosen and once the Republican is chosen, every election they're on the attack. And that includes going back to the days of Reagan. I remember when they were trying to somehow laud Jimmy Carter as a worthy president in his re-election against Ronald Reagan. Obviously, the American people see through this at times, but it does have an impact.
Yeah. Hey, Jack, I hope you'll come back. Thank you very much for sharing with us. It was great to talk to you.